Oh, hello, and welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that provided a good example of the Bobo doll experiment for you. Now, with our social theory learning presentation, we've created an activity that is an ongoing activity for the classroom, and it's to be used multiple times a day when transitioning from one area of the school to another. The way it goes is, when it's time for the students to line up inside the classroom, the rules are to walk in a single file, straight and quiet line from one point to another. In order to encourage the children to act on this behavior, the teacher will choose a table to line up according to their positive behavior. While this table is lining up, the teacher will give positive reinforcement by commending them for being so quiet and well behaved. For example, they could say something like, "I'm so proud of the way the blue table is behaving. You are so quiet. Well done." Something like that. This is encouragement for that particular table, and it shows the other children that this table is rewarded by lining up first because they are following the rules. This will encourage each table as they are called to act on the positive behavior. In this activity, each table will want to follow the previous table's actions in order to earn their teacher's reward. They use the previous groups as a model for this positive behavior. The activity we have focused on does follow criteria for the social learning theory where positive influence is involved. For example, it involves attention. In order for a person to learn something, they need to pay attention to the behavior that needs modeling. When dealing with small children, it's important to grab their attention. In the chosen activity, the children are being called when they are behaving the proper way at their table. Next, retention. For a person to remember a positive behavior, there needs to be an image or verbal description in the form of positive feedback for them to learn. The verbal description in the activity is the positive reinforcement that is given by the teacher. The students hear the teacher giving praise to each table as they are called to line up. Next is reproduction. And this means that a person modifies their behavior and actions to mimic the actions of the modeled pattern, which is the positive behavior. For example, in our activity, the first table was called because they were the quietest and most behaved. So whenever the other tables realize that they haven't been called because they were acting up, they'll begin to reproduce the prior group or table's action to get their turn. And last, motivation. There needs to be a motivating factor that is behind the actions. The motivating factor behind the activity is that the children want to receive praise and reward by their teacher. In the activity that we provided, that we created for our class, it does follow Bandura's social theory. The children are given a model of behavior to follow and are given the proper guidance and social cues needed to change and modify their behavior into one that is acceptable in an elementary classroom. Children want acceptance and they're driven by competition, naturally. If a child is given a clear, real model to watch, then by nature they'll want to be like their social peers. If they see that they're being rewarded for good behavior, they're going to want to do the same thing. Thus, children are a product of their environment. And we concluded that our activity does in fact support, the development in which we're discussing here. And we know this because correction of misbehavior is required to develop self-discipline. A lot of schools put in the zero tolerance mindset. If the children are taught at an early age about the reward and discipline concept, it will be easier for them to have self-discipline when an adult is not present. Positive reinforcement and rewards will encourage the children because they want approval. The reward will also encourage the children to continue to display good behavior. It is not a one-time thing. The more it happens, the more effective it will be. With the reward and correction of misbehavior, will help the children become more civil citizens and disciplined students. So thank you for watching our presentation. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you were well informed of the social learning theory and the activity that we produced and how it pertains to that. On behalf of Group B, thank you very much.